Welcome to my first vegetable garden. Today's video is all about seed starting asparagus. Asparagus is a perennial vegetable. That means once you get it planted in your garden, it will come back for a good 15 years. What we're doing now is just establishing the roots. That's what we're essentially growing indoors right now. So we want a really nice root system. We get it outside, let it establish, and then 2 to 3 years after planting, you can start harvesting your first asparagus. So it takes a little bit of time to get started. But this is a great way to save money because these plants, again, are going to produce for a good 15 years. Most of the time we think of asparagus as buying the root crowns or the roots. Same thing. And we pay up for that because we're buying roots from an online store usually. They're usually 2 or 3 year old crowns and we have to pay more money for them. Or sometimes we see them hanging in a plastic bag in the big box stores. I highly recommend don't buy those. Those roots usually dry out and you end up with nothing that's really viable. So if you're going to spend up, look for somebody reputable online, buy the 2 year crowns, but they can be expensive. A single pack of asparagus costs you about $2. You can find the seeds at my seed shop, therustedgarden.com. This is Martha Washington asparagus. You get a good amount of seeds, and this is plenty to establish a good 15-foot row of asparagus for just $2 and a little bit of work indoors. Now I'm in Maryland Zone 7. The plants right here were started on 12/30, and you can see how much growth there is. And that's what? 4 weeks, 6 weeks, say 7 weeks of growth. They grow extremely well. I recommend planting them in these larger containers. I sell these at my seed shop. Or you could use yogurt containers, water bottles cut in half, just poke holes in the bottom. And please check out the video description. There's a whole video series in there about containers, starting mix, really starting seeds indoors. You can check that out if you need a refresher before we get to planting the asparagus seeds. The asparagus right here, this was started on January 28th, I think. So this is about 2 weeks worth of growth. And all the asparagus right here is about 2 weeks old. And you can see that it grows really quickly. And the germination rate is pretty good. This is some more asparagus that was started back in December too. Now, like I said, we're just growing the roots, meaning we don't really care what happens to the upper growth. We're trying to get nice, hardy roots, something like this. This is a good start. But we want these to be thicker and larger, and we're going to actually leave them in the containers if you're using something larger like the ones back here. These are 4 cells. They're a little bit bigger than your standard 6. You could leave these in here for a while, but try and get them into the container size that they're going to stay in for a while. We want these to stay in here a good 10 to 14 weeks to really get these nice, beautiful, massive roots. At that point, we can put them into the garden where we want to, and if you want to follow me, I'll show you how I do that. Or you could put them into containers and just let them continue for a couple of more weeks or even months in the containers, and then you can plant your asparagus garden up later. The whole goal is get the root systems developed. And again, you know, 1 pack of seeds is plenty for a good 15, even a 20-foot row of asparagus crowns. And just FYI, when these go out into the permanent bed, you want to plant your crowns about 6 inches deep. You want to space them 12 to 18 inches apart. I space them a little bit more closely together. They grow slowly. You know, down the line, if it becomes overcrowded, it's a good problem to have. You can divide your asparagus crowns up in your bed and just spread them out to other places. So what we're going to do is just take really 3 or 4 seeds. You can kind of pull the roots apart too later, so you don't just have to do 1 seed per cell. You could do that if you want to. Then you're definitely not going to have to pot up. So again, I have everything prepped. Check out the video description for seed starting. I'd like to take 3 or 4 seeds and just drop them in a triangle shape into the larger area there. You're not going to be able to really see them, but trust me, we're just putting down 3 or 4 seeds. Let me just finish it up. And we still have plenty of seeds left. I use a pencil, and you can see them on my end, and I just push them down about 1/4 of an inch, not past 1/2 inch deep. Triangle shape. And then gently cover them over, press them in. I also like doing 3 or 4 seeds because sometimes a seed won't germinate. So if you're just waiting around for one to germinate and it's not viable, you're just kind of wasting your time. You can always thin these if you want. That's the setup for the larger cells. Yogurt containers work really well, and you can pick these up at my seed shop. Same thing with the 4-pack. I'm just going to drop 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you get the idea. And let me just push these in too, because you can just see how quickly, for a couple dollars for a pack of seeds and some basic starting mix, we already have 10 cells, 10 spaces, but in each space we're going to get 2 or 3 crowns. That's 30 right there. Let's clear these out of the way. And once you have them planted, you want them to go under the lights. You do want to use grow lights. After they get to a size like this, you can actually put them by a south-facing window. If there's no frost outside, you can let them, be outside during the day. But we want to get them growing indoors now. February is a great time. You get February, March, April of all this indoor growth, or growth in these containers, hybrid being indoors, hybrid going out onto your porch or something. You get these beautiful crowns. After about, 10 to 14 weeks, if you wanted to plant them right into the garden, you have a space, you could do that now. But I do recommend holding them longer, maybe pot them up. Just get these beautiful crowns. You're going to see how thick they get. They get really thick. And then, come June, maybe early July, these have been growing. Plants might be even looking a little bit beat up, but I'm going to stress one more time, you have these beautiful crowns, these beautiful roots. Space them 12 to 18 inches apart in your garden. Plant them first, like dig a row, remove 3 inches of the soil, plant them 3 inches deep. After they're growing for a while, add another 3 inches. You don't want to push these crowns down 6 inches when they're small. 3 inches first, then add another 3 inches, maybe beginning of August or something like that. But this is a great way to save a lot of money. Grow your own crowns. I can tell you I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 in just what has grown already. Times 2, because it's 2 plants per. That's 28 crowns for under $2. Thanks so much for watching. Please follow me or subscribe to my first vegetable garden. I will teach you how to seed start indoors, how to direct sow outside, and how to take care of plants and just have a better experience growing food in your garden. Thanks so much for watching. Please check out my seed shop at therustedgarden.com. And it's really that easy to start asparagus indoors, get it growing, develop the roots, develop the crowns, and then you'll have perfect transplants to go out into your asparagus patch. Thanks for watching.